So the new Sony 28-70 f2 has been announced, and it's a big boy. If you've been keeping up with new Sony releases, they released their 28-70 f2 and their new A1 Mark II. Something that's pretty cool to me to see now is Sony bringing out a little bit of different kind of focal ranges that, despite Canon having their own version, now they're bringing into the Sony line of ecosystem for lenses despite of the budget. I wanted to cover a little bit of my thoughts about what the specs, for the price point ratio versus what you could get out of in a different scenario, like with a Tamron 35-150, and what I think about the lens from my opinion of using relatively big lenses and, type of different focal ranges. I know I don't have the lens with me, so bear with me on that end. I know I'm not there yet to have Sony invite me to those nice events that they have, but one day you just gotta keep manifesting it, I guess you could say. And if you're wondering why the new talking head setup today is just, I'm testing out a Laowa 60mm anamorphic macro lens that they came out with, and this is my first time really using a macro anamorphic lens at that. So just wanted to test out and have some fun with the new talking head for this video, to just have a little chat with you. So the 28-70 f2 is a big lens. It is a very much 35-150 type of lens size, which it seems that it's a lot thicker because of that f2 consistent aperture, and also with the length of it is pretty much in the same money park as the 35-150. The main difference that I think that you're gonna be looking into when it comes down to a lens like that is you're gonna have to really be fine with giving up your primes when it comes down to going to obtain a lens of that caliber. When it comes down to the price point of almost $3,000, you're gonna have to have a big investment that I can tell. But the good thing is, I guess, if you're getting that lens, you can also sell your primes if you're not needing them, or if you're needing to just have one lens to kind of cover most of your focal ranges from the 28-70, well, it makes sense to a certain degree. I personally don't really go into much of getting the G Master lenses due to the price point of what you're getting out of them compared to simply just getting a Tamron lens or maybe even a Sigma lens. I went with my Tamron 35-150 to get rid of my prime lenses because I wanted to condense down, despite of this lens being bigger than most lenses out there. I thought it was a great lens to invest into because I had a great range from the 35 all the way to the 150 with a variable aperture of f2 to 2.8. Now, if you're seeing that new Sony lens of the 28-70, having a consistent aperture of f2 is quite amazing. You're gonna get a consistent bokeh all the way from 28 to the 70 rather than, the variable aperture that the 35-150 has. Is there gonna be a major difference to a certain degree? Well, it's really just more up to you to feel like it does or not. Whenever I've done testing, even for bokeh difference from a 1.8 to a 2.8, it wasn't anything crazy that I thought it would be worth having to invest into them further or anything like that. So it really just depends on your needs. The one cool thing that you can have when it comes down to the Sony line of the 28-70 f2 is make your own holy trinity. Tamron tends to have that with their 17-28, 28-75, and if you want to use the 70-180 or the 35-150, you can make your holy trinity that way. Now you can do that with your Sony line of lenses that would make a lot more sense to me. I would get like the 16-35, 28-70 f2. So if you want to have like kind of your prime lens type of lens itself with an f2 to have for portraits and most of things, then you have your 70-100. Of course, the main thing is going to be, do you need it? Do you have the budget? Or are you in a professional setting that it's a must to have those type of lenses? For the average user, I don't think you're gonna be needing anything of that caliber to even go into of the 28-70 and also building a trifecta kind of lens selection like that. The 28-70 almost coming at $3,000 is really gonna be for the people that genuinely either A, already have prime lenses that they're gonna get rid of, B, are in a professional setting that it really demands that they need something of that caliber for the faster aperture, or C, you have disposable income and you should share it with me. But in all honesty, that's essentially what I view it as. Most people will not need to get a 28-70 f2 because the price point alone might scare them, especially if you're relatively a hobbyist photographer where you like to create content for fun and or for social media, but you're not really seeking to go into the aspects of the route of professional world in the sense of making it your main moneymaker. And this is perfectly fine. I don't think there's any issue whatsoever with that. It really just depends on you as a person. For myself, there's a reason why I like to go with the third-party lenses, not because I'm not a professional or I don't see myself as one, but I know I can achieve the same results with the camera gear that I currently have and the third-party lenses than getting the G Master lenses. My only Sony lens that I actually have is my 20-70 f4 that's a G lens. It's not a G Master lens because it's their kind of other type of range that they have or series that is really great. I mean, I can do a lot with it, and the reason why I wanted to get with it because of the 20-70 range that I wanted to bring if I needed to travel, to condense down a little bit more than having to bring my 20-40 and then also maybe like a 24-70 or maybe my 35-150. I can kind of have a little bit more range in the 20-70 to cover more with just one lens for videoing, and then use my 35-150 for the most photos and some B-roll. It makes it less headache enough for me to be able to have to change lenses all the time. So I can just put them in each body perspectively that I know I'll be using, and it works out nicely. But when it comes down to 28-70, you can create quite a bit. But the problem will be is it gonna be wide enough for you? A lot of people obviously like to go with a 24-70 because the 24 range is relatively nice, you know, and wide. There's a reason why the Tamron 28-75 isn't always as popular for some people because they want to have that 24 wideness to the 70 where they're willing to give up that extra 5mm that you could read, because they're willing to give up that extra 5mm that they can reach due to the fact that you can actually crop in more if needed or do anything of that sort rather than be able to have to do a wider section. So with the new Sony 28-70 f2, it's a great lens nonetheless. What I think it's just gonna be that not for everybody. And that's okay. Sony knows this. That's why they do their research and development. It could be for other people and they're making enough money off of it, I'm sure, that it just doesn't matter if people like me or you maybe complain about it. So don't go ahead and shoot the messenger down below in the comment section, but that's just my thought process when it comes down to this lens of what it could be, you know, the use of and who could it be for. So that's just my thought process coming from a very big and chunky, you know, focal range in the zoom lens world that I thought it'd be interesting to talk about. But I want to leave it up to you. Do you think that the new Sony 28-70 f2 would be the right lens for you? Is it the right budget for you? Or is it something that you're just going to be dreaming about because you're not going to pull the trigger on because you don't want to spend that kind of money with it? Let me know your thoughts down below. I would love to know what you think about the lens, if it's something that's going to be worth it or not, or is it something that, as much as it sounds nice, just not really going to be for you. But with all that said and done, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Share this video with a friend. I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.